Good morning. I'm back. The program is Stolen Property. I am Brother Donald, the Spirit Man, and I'll be with you and to the top of the noon hour to 12 noon. Starting off kind of late this morning. Had to regroup because some things that did not happen the way they should have happened this morning. So that doesn't stop us from doing what we have to do. Some interesting things I'm going to get into this morning. Ulysses Carey, if you have a problem or you get into a situation, how you can get out of it is use the dumb Negro defense, the dumb Negro defense. And there's no way that this person, State Senator Carey, could still remain inside the legislature. Not when all your friends said that you're not too bright, not too smart, not too intelligent at all. So the Negro need to go. No ifs, buts about it. So let me move on to something that may be important to you. Just maybe. Because I'm starting to question some things. So, here we go. The Baltimore Sun, Friday, November the 11th, page 2. City Council threatens to suspend tax breaks for developers. The City Council Finance Committee chairman threatened Thursday to impose a moratorium on tax breaks for developers until City Hall implements more transparency in the process and funds more projects outside of downtown. Carl Stokes, who chairs the Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee, said he wants to see City Hall implement nearly a dozen recommendations from a task force composed of some of Baltimore's best-known business and political leaders before he would allow any more pilots or PILOT payments in lien of taxes or TIFs, tax incentive funding projects. His panel has previewed over the legislation granting such breaks. We think that there could be more transparency and more neighborhood development, Stokes said. The mayor's office condemned Stokes' move, saying his hasty opposition would have a widespread impact. A moratorium on TIF or pilot legislation would be reckless and threatens to kill job creation in the city, said Berman, the spokesperson for Stephanie Rawlins Blake. At issue are the recommendations released Thursday by a task force that met 9 times over the last 6 months. The task force includes Baltimore Orioles owner Peter Angelo's Able Foundation president Robert Embry Jr., former deputy mayor Andy Frank, former mayoral candidate and board of realtors representative Jody Landers III. I wonder why he was talking about he wouldn't abolish the Baltimore Development Corporation when he was running for mayor. More than 100 development projects in Baltimore enjoy tax breaks known as pilots or TIFs, which are designed to stimulate economic growth. In general, the tax breaks are good for the city, encourage development, and boost tax revenue from the increased economic activity, the report says. For instance, the 11 completed pilot projects analyzed in the report are exempt from $12.8 million in annual property taxes, but generate about $15.4 million in other taxes such as parking and energy and telephone bills. Let's stop here for a minute, folks. And I did not do my disclaimer when I came on to open this program up. So I wish to say that the opinions that you hear are not those of WFBR, the management, or the station. Thank you. Now let's go back to this. The 11 completed projects that the panel or board or whatever these folks were that came together analyzed 11 of them that's received these tax breaks are exempt from $12.8 million in annual property taxes, but generates $15.4 million in other taxes, such as parking, energy, and telephone fees. So out of these 11 that they looked at, that was exempt from $12.8 million in annual property taxes, but was able to generate in other taxes 15.4. What in that kind of benefit are the city getting? What is the difference between 12.8 and 15.4? Just maybe, let's round it off to $3 million what the city. That's the difference between that. Those tax incentives, those tax breaks are not needed at all. And they talk about capitalism and free enterprise, bootstrapping it and all those kind of things. If you want to build it, use your own damn money. Make no sense. So let's go on with this. But the task force members criticized the Baltimore Development Corporation approach to soliciting TIFs, arguing that developers are determining the plans and areas for development. Right now, the process is driven by developers. The city needs to be in the driver's seat, said Landers, who, like Stokes, ran against Stephanie Rawlins Blake for mayor. Stokes abandoned his mayoral ambitions and ran for his 12th district council seat. Kim Trueheart, a representative of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, said she was disappointed the report wasn't strong. The report wasn't stronger. It highlights a lot of the concerns that have been perceived in our community, she said in the report. It is clear that downtown development is the focus. The reality is we need growth in our neighborhoods. People do not live in high-rise office buildings. My point is, how do we utilize these TIFs or these other tax breaks or incentives in our own communities? But I'm not going to go through a lot of this. When they start talking some crazy other kind of stuff that curiously absent from the report, however, is any specific mention of the hundreds of city jobs, the mayor's spokesperson said in a statement. He also said that the report did not capture the full scope of tax revenue generated by the incentives at neighborhood projects such as Mondawman's Mall, Belvedere Square, Charles Village, Clipper Mill. Also on Tuesday, Stokes Committee voted to extend a TIF zone for Under Armour Incorporated, a move that would allow the sports apparel company to expand its Locust Point headquarters. Stokes said the decision did not violate his moratorium because it was an expansion of an existing TIF, not the creation of a new one. All that he said at that council meeting of what he wanted to do, then turned around and did it again. That's a contradiction. It should have been just cut and cut clean. So I'm going to put the newspapers away, and I'm just going to do this on the fly. Because the folks over in the East Baltimore, Middle East neighborhood, raising some hell. And there are some things that I have said that dealing with this issue of housing, and that's where I'm going to stay at on this issue of housing, because I'm looking at in front of me, I have a 3-inch packet. Sister gave me this packet. Sister Renee, how you be, my sister? I hope you're listening this morning. Gave me several months ago. Dealing with MERS. I know that you are hearing a lot more, or have heard something about MERS. I believe the correct spelling on it is MEARS. Interesting thing that I was watching the television earlier this week. I was watching one of those late night talk programs. Bill, what's that? Bill Maher's. And he had a guest on his program, and the guest on his program was the Attorney General for Delaware, which is the son of Vice President Joe Biden. And what he was doing was he was talking about, or every time he mentioned the word or the name MERS, he was cut off twice. And we have to ask, what is MERS? Because at this particular time, there's those that out there that are telling our people to file for bankruptcy, for this, that, and the other reason to be able to get out of this housing situation. But I went through this information. I'm not going to deal with this right now, but let everybody else finish weighing on this, and I'm able to break this down and explain to you this housing crisis, and I'm going to do it in less than 20 minutes. That's how simple it is. And I'll tell you, do not move out of your home. Do not move from out of your home, because the bottom line comes down to is that with this MERS, MERS, look it up. Please look it up. MERS. This is the shadow banking system, because the situation is that with these states, these attorney generals in these states that are filing suit against these banks, they don't have your paperwork. They don't have the documentation. This is not, and this is beyond robo-calling, or I mean not robo-calling, robo-signing. Is that your debt, your financial obligation? And way this has worked and how this is working is that why they can't produce your paperwork, because those who are servicing your debt do not hold or do not have in their possession the title or the deed to your property. There has been a separation between the money that you pay and the title or the deed to your home. So if you were into a tight financial situation or going into a foreclosure situation, or you believe that you will be experiencing that, then what you would need to do is to those who you are paying your mortgage to, you may have to sue them to produce the documentation to show that they have title, ownership to that home. Otherwise than that, they can't foreclose on you because they have no documentation to prove that they have any interest in that property at all. And what's happening is it's a land grab. All they're doing is just covering their tracks. They're covering their butts. Because this is a lot bigger than what it is. It's those that have created the housing crisis are turning around. They got bailed out by Obama. And now they are selling, foreclosing on people's homes. People are not able to refinance because the restrictions or the requirements are much more tighter than they were before. And the Obama administration keep coming up with these goofy ass programs talking about you can refinance or you can modify. The modification is less than 3% or 3% or less. It is so minute that it's insignificant. These same predators, the same ones that the Occupy Wall Street people are talking about, because when you go downtown where the Occupy Baltimore is, you're going to see Transamerica, PNC, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Legg Mason, a couple of them, SunTrust. You're going to find all those banking entities, those that ripped you off with your Negro preachers, because it was those Negro preachers all across this country that opened their sanctuaries up and opened their churches up for these predators to come in. They the ones who turned their damn flocks over to the predators and the predatory lenders. So black church, you just as responsible as the rest. You're just as dumb as some of the rest. So what I was looking to do this morning was to have a little fun. Since the brother and sister didn't make it, I hope that you can get it together, that you can bring your family back together, because sister, it doesn't make no sense that for you to lose your home. Brother loves you, cares about you. But if you let your children dictate what happens between yourself and your husband and in your household, those that's not contributing, and some of them work, and you not require them to do anything at all to help you out, and you busting your behind, busting your butt. Do you wish to lose your home? Because a lot of you in that same old situation, and a lot of y'all brothers and sisters are at each other or not even speaking to each other. Because this family that I'm talking about is not just one that I know. There's numerous of those families out there that I have talked to. And we have had those kinds of discussions. Does it really matter? Because some folks was telling me that I was talking to earlier on in the week, was telling me, Donna, why are you wasting your time dealing with issues of black folks? They're not going to do anything. They don't have issues. They have complaints. Because if you have issues, you address those issues, opposed to getting into conflict avoidance. I wasn't going to open the phone lines up, but I see that somebody's on. I'm gonna chance it. I don't know who it is, a blind call, but I think I might take this call. Good morning, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Is this Radio 1?
Radio what?
Yeah, Radio 1?
You mean air traffic control. You got the wrong station. The phone number is 410-761-1592. I don't know about some of y'all folks got comprehension problems. I don't know if it's lead pink poisoning or what. No, there's not such and such a one. We trying to be on the one. And trying to get you on the one. so we all can get on the same page so we can get something done. But it comes down to what I was talking about earlier, particularly with East Side Development. Folks are trying to cover their butt, and don't let them pacify you. With what took place with the committee with Carl Stokes and this report, it's just to pacify folks. Because you look at some of the folks that was over in East Baltimore area when they tore down their houses and redevelopment, they didn't give them folks enough money to purchase another property so that they could live decent and comfortable. Those who was able to purchase homes are struggling because they're not able to make the repairs on those homes. They weren't compensated. And how in the hell you think that you are going to move back in that neighborhood when the properties, the homes are going to be selling for $200,000 on up? Be for real. In the Baltimore Development Corporation, they talked about, this report looked at 11. I talked about it before, that the Baltimore Development Corporation is no more than a financial action arm for the developers. If I'm lying, rescue me if I'm wrong. That's all it is. Nobody wants to abolish it. Then you have the housing commissioner sitting on the Baltimore Development Corporation, the Park Heights Renaissance, the Greater Baltimore Committee, the Housing Authority in Baltimore City, and also occupying the position of being of charge of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, okay. Well, you are 5,000% correct. I'm going to give you a prime example. I'm not going to name the particular street. It's on the fringe of Bolton Hill section.
Mm-hmm.
Black ownership for, I guess, 60 or 70 years of age. Black family, right?
Mm-hmm.
The city of Baltimore, an old gentleman, he's in a hospice now, owned the house, left it to his son and daughter. And to show you how trifling these black folks are, do you know the city took the house because of inside violations that the grown son and daughter refused to help the old man with? And guess who brought the house for $20,000? Some white man from Virginia.
I hear you, Joe.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of them stories.
Yeah. And the black folks in the neighborhood, they're not upset.
No, they're not.
They're not upset. You have two white families that picked up these big 3-story row houses, never been cut up to apartments, for under $100,000. And like I tell these insane people, when you see these white folks coming, your black tail is on your way out.
Yeah, that's the...
And then they call me a racist. And you know what I tell them? So what?
I hear you, Joe. You're right.
If it was more Negroes like me racist, maybe we'd be in better shape.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Joe.
Okay, sir.
Appreciate that. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Peace, Brother Donald. How are you today?
I'm broke. That's all I can tell you. I'm broke. That's all. I'm brote. I can't overemphasize that.
Well, two broke brothers on the line together, man.
Yes,
I thought
sir.
I'd call you this morning. I had a chance to listen in as well as give you a call, man. This is Brother David.
Yes, sir.
Listen, man, I hear you. I hear what you're dealing with and the issues at hand, you know. I'm reminded of what Brother Coakley said to us in Baltimore many years ago. He said that maybe Baltimore just hasn't had enough.
You haven't had enough, brother. I'm had that. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Maybe white supremacy just hasn't kicked us in the seat of our pants hard enough. Maybe we're not explaining the issues more in depth enough. Maybe we haven't been as active enough. And maybe we have missed one or two episodes of Chappelle. Maybe we didn't watch enough Good Times.
Yes,
I don't know what all it is or what it entails, but like the caller just said previously, they label us from everything to racist, to idiots, to stupid, but one way or another, this thing going down, and it ain't pretty, man.
No, it's not pretty, and it's not going to be pretty for us. So I thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you giving me the time to talk.
You're welcome. The program is Stolen Property. The phone number is 410-761-1592. I even had some folks told me, said, Donald, you wasting your time. You really wasting your time. Maybe you should go and flip over and go on the other side. Maybe you should be the voice for the other folks. Maybe you should be a black Republican and speak on behalf of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, or speak in the interest of other folks, because your folks going to take you down and take you under. Not going to give you a dime. And I was told that by a attorney who's handling the lawsuit on behalf of the residents of Baltimore City who have lost their homes at the tax sale. One of the conditions that he was going to take and do that class action lawsuit was that the people would have to contribute to take care of the necessary fees for filing the paperwork. Even took and waived that. And told me, Donald, they ain't going to support your program. They're not. They're not going to do it. But that's beyond the point. That's not going to stop this ship from sailing. Good. So the program is Stolen Property. The phone number is 410-761-1592. When we really get into some serious issues, you're being hustled. These folks trying to cover their behind, putting a spin on this housing situation here in Baltimore City. They're going to knock you out of the box. They're going to drive you out of the city as you see the influx of another culture coming in. That's what it is. And this city is just indicative of what's going on and happening all around the country. Go down to Jefferson County, Alabama. They filed Chapter 9. Jefferson County, Alabama is in foreclosure. They're in bankruptcy right now. Y'all gonna be cooking in the next couple of weeks, cooking and baking your potatoes. They're about to get your Idaho potatoes. Prisoners up there are working them damn farms, picking and sorting those potatoes out. I ain't even talk about the jobs bill, because I got a jobs bill for you if y'all Negroes want to talk about jobs. You might be back on the plantation messing with these Democrats and Republicans, because y'all got some Texas crackers on your hands in the Congress and in the Senate. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you doing?
I'm all right if I can get some folks to send $10 or $5 in the program to keep me on. Otherwise, I might have to flip on the other side.
I already sent in a donation a week ago for the whole station.
I didn't hear you.
I said I already sent in a donation for the whole station.
What do you mean for the whole station? You mean to keep the lights on here?
I have no doubt. Whatever you all want to do with it.
Okay.
Keep it going and keep it rolling, and you stay on. And your comment about our people being booted out. One of the things that they're having now are these circulator buses.
Mm-hmm. I was on one the other day.
And I'm enjoying them, but I know they're not doing it for us.
And
they're going to have another one put in next year.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and that'll be a total of 4.
What about
circulator buses?
What about they put 15 them in?
For what?
What about they put 15 buses, circulators out there?
Oh, I have no idea, but I know this is not for us. A cab driver told me this was all for white folks.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
You mean just having the circulators for white folks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not the highest population in the city, right? We're 60%.
And what that supposed to mean?
That's supposed to mean we're supposed to be treated as well as they are. That's what it means.
You're right. It is. You supposed to, but you ain't got no money. You ain't contributing towards nothing. Your school's not teaching your children. You have no problem with that. Your property values have went down. Your taxes have gone up. You have no problem with that. You have inflated water bills. You have no problem with that. You're getting jacked by BG&E. You have no problem with that. Your seniors are struggling to live, and a lot of them not make it. You have no problem with that. Black folks got complaints. They don't have issues that they're dealing with.
White folks speak up. We should speak up too.
You're right. It's all, operative is we should, we could, we would, but the fact of the matter is that we don't.
Yeah, and I said all these circulators coming into the city, there's got to be a reason.
You got to, black folks got to go.
Pardon me?
As the book Baltimore Bound said, a strategy for regional renewal.
Mm-hmm.
As they go to attract a middle class back to Baltimore City, they're going to lower the taxes. The services will get better, and the quality of life will get better for those who can pay. Poor folks, if you can't pay, I guess you can't stay. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess if you can't pay, then you got to go.
Yeah.
Just simple as that, sister.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
I don't know. I might have to do a program called The Other Side of Blackness, because I think I'm going to have some fun trying to inform you to take charge of your lives. May not be working. So maybe I'm going to have to hit it from the other side. Maybe the mayor doing a damn good job. Maybe the governor is doing what's right. Maybe if folks can't pay their taxes, maybe if they can't make their mortgages, maybe if they can't do those things that they feel is necessary, why should other people be concerned about that? You got all these black political representatives that you have in office. Look at that. City council, all the people in the legislature. Then what's the problem then? I have a couple minutes left. You can call in. The phone number is 410-761-1592. Maybe the problem is you just keep crying and whining and wanting somebody else to do it for you. That it's going to abracadabra kaboom. Obama going to come and help you out. Yeah, let him turn off that damn TARP funds and let these police officers lose their jobs and let these firemen lose their jobs. The black so-called middle class can be wiped out in just one sweep of a damn pen, because the bulk of what you call so-called middle class folks live off the local, state, and federal government. Local, state, and federal jobs. And they're going to take and cut a lot of them out too. Because when you go and look at the debt panel that they put together in Europe, when they first made the announcement, as the United States government was announcing theirs simultaneously, you should look at some of the recommendations that they had. If you don't have a job, if you want a government dole, you getting food stamps, you getting public assistance, you're going to have to work. That's what they said. You're going to ones going to be sweeping the streets, emptying the trash, doing some of those jobs that y'all middle-class Negroes that think you all that because I live in Owens Mill. I moved to Newtown. I don't live, I would live in Woodlawn. I live in Randallstown. I don't live in a city. Your damn schools and your children, Prince George's County educational system and the results of the achievements or lack thereof are worse than Baltimore cities. Good morning. I have 1 minute left.
Hey, Brother Donald, how you doing?
Who's this?
This is Brother Craig, man.
Hey, Craig, how you been, man?
Yeah, hey, I got a question, man.
Go
You
ahead.
know that down there at the convention center, they got the big
Going on today.
the NACA expo that help people with housing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, if the folks go down there and go to any kind of refi or any other kind of thing like that, a modification, this and that and the other, ask them folks to produce the title to that property. And everything, they'll get all mumbled and mumble-lipped and all that other kind of stuff, this and that, because they just don't have it. It's just another way of them taking your stuff and keeping you in the game. And in a lot of situations that they are not doing anything to the principal of the property. All they're doing is just cutting down the interest rate or whatever, this, that, and the other, but you're still going to wind up with much more longer-term debt. That's the bottom line with it. Maybe it's get to the point that, you know, if everybody can just kick in and do, we just intellectually at this point just lazy. We got the internet and all that other kind of stuff. We're not looking up stuff. We too in Facebook looking at this, that, and the other, on and on, when we should be doing some seriously analyzing and trying to tighten up the situation for ourselves. And my time is up. Got to get up out of here. I'm over and way over. Thank you, Craig. I wish I had more time that you could speak on some things, okay?
All right, bro. Take care.
All right, I'm going to just close this program out and probably can try to do better next week. If you send a donation or whatever to this program, you have to have it. You have to send it in Program Pacific. If it's to state of the city, let it be state of the city. If it's stolen property, let it be stolen property. You know, I take that as what the sister said, as just a cop-out. Just a cop-out. When you put it, or you said you sent it in a general sense, then, you know, it's generally taken. It's just a cop-out. So no excuses for where we are, and I think I'm going to change up, and I'm going to beat you up real good. I'm going to beat you up real good, because you need a whipping, and to whip you and get your minds in shape. Otherwise than that, then I'm going on the other side. I'm going to take this and turn this into a business, and if it's a situation where we will see what happens next week, because I don't know about y'all folks. I don't know if you're going to make it or not. I don't think so, and it doesn't look too good, and maybe you just have to get your behinds whipped real good. You have to go crying and whining and acting like little punks and little sissies because you won't stand up for yourselves and stand up for your children. Wonder why your children victimizing you. They don't believe in you, have no faith in you, because you don't have any faith in yourselves, and that's the situation that has to change. So, hey, you know, I might guess have to leave y'all behind and move on, because why should I address issues that don't affect me? You hear me? I don't live in the hood. I don't